Welcome to Jason's Jewels. I'm your host, Jason Alexander. And today we're going to have a discussion about the great Kobe Bryant. And I got none other than my man, LaDarious Thomas, right here for everybody to see. Because out of all the folks I know, this might be the biggest Kobe hater I have ever come across. And me personally, as a Kobe stan straight out of Europe, I don't understand where the hate is coming from. So, LaDarious, I'm going to go on and kick this off to you right off the top. Why do you hate Kobe so much? What
Man,
is it that Kobe did that has got you to the point to where you will not acknowledge this man's greatness?
he's wearing that ugly purple and gold. Let's start there. That purple and yellow. We can start there. Barney and corn. We can start there. But I'm sick of the discussion from the fans, from the Kobe fans. Now you guys say, hey, we just hang in the background and we relax. And why y'all taking shots at us? And I say, guys, I do remember a time shortly after Kobe retired. No, shortly after that fifth ring, when we were having
Okay.
very wild discussions, as in, is Kobe better than MJ? Is he the greatest of all time? So I do remember you guys got on a high perch.
Right.
I'm just here to make sure that you guys know that you got to go down a few notches. So I think I got two major gripes with the Kobe fan. I think
All
I
right.
see a lot of the same rhetoric almost being spewed from the LeBron camp, and they come over and they kind of push an agenda, and I go, hold on, guys. There's more to the story than that. I see some similarities, and when you rank Kobe all time, certainly if you're a brother, if you don't put that man in your top three, people want to fight. And I go, why? Why am I forced to put Kobe in the top three? Great player, nonetheless, but
Right.
top three,
Right.
top
Well,
three.
personally, I got Kobe in my top 5. So if I don't get upset if folks don't have him in their top 3.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at as a Kobe fan. Now, if you don't have him in your top 5, I'll be like, all right, why is he not in your top 5? Because top 5, I feel like that's a nice little room. But top 3, if you don't have him in your top 3, I get it. You got MJ, you got Kareem. I don't know. There's going to be some folks that throw LeBron in there. I don't have LeBron in my top 3 personally. I don't have LeBron above Kobe in my overall top 10, top 5 players.
Yeah.
I got LeBron in the top 10, but he's not higher than Kobe. But there's definitely some Kobe folks out there who have him in the top 3. And there's definitely some Kobe folks who be ready to fight if you don't have him in your top 3. So I get that. But I didn't mean to interrupt. I'll go on and let you continue. But
No, man.
I wanted to speak my piece on that because he's definitely in my top 5. He's the closest thing I've seen to MJ. And for me, MJ is the greatest that I've ever seen. I've never seen anybody better than Michael Jordan. And that includes King James, LeBron James, whatever you want to call him. He's not my GOAT. So I got MJ and I got Kareem above LeBron. And then I throw in Kobe at number 3. But again, like I said, if you ain't got Kobe in your top 5 or top 3, I ain't mad. That shit don't bother me none.
You see, man, where is a disgraceful place to put him? What number is like, hey, once you go past this number, it's almost real life fighting words. Where's that spot at?
Top 10. For me, it's top 10. If
Okay.
you don't have me in your top 10, I won't talk basketball with you.
So if I said 8 or 9, somewhere in that threshold, it's like
I would be taken aback. Don't get me wrong, but I get it because there's a lot of players out there. There's folks that want to throw Bill Russell in there, and I can't front on that. If you're gonna put Bill Russell against Kobe, I can't front on that because what Bill Russell did for the game and what he did as a player and as a coach, that shit can't be ignored, man. So it's hard for me to say that Bill Russell and Kobe. It's hard for me to say that Kobe belongs above Bill Russell based on what Bill Russell has done. But I never got to watch Bill Russell play. So as a result, I'm going to have Kobe higher than Bill Russell because I saw Kobe. But I understand the history of the game. Wilt Chamberlain, I'll have Kobe above Wilt Chamberlain. And that's largely because Wilt Chamberlain only got 1 ring. And I know we talk about the ring culture and this, that, and the other. If you're going to be as good as Wilt Chamberlain, you should have had more than 1 ring. And that just shows that there were folks out there that were better than Wilt Chamberlain. And with Kobe, I just don't see Wilt Chamberlain being better than Kobe, even though Wilt Chamberlain's got that 100-point game that we never saw. But it's going to be what it's going to be. I got Kobe above Wilt.
Do you believe the 100-point game is real? Do you believe the 100-point game actually happened, or do you think it's some fudge in there?
I have a hard time believing they're just going to make some shit up like that out the blue. I just wish that there was some video coverage of it. I wish there was some because we had video cameras back then. There were folks recording shit back then. Hell, they recorded all kinds of shit back then. So for me, there's no excuse to not have some video recording of that game. When he got to 40 points, somebody should have said, hey, we need to whip out a camera. Ain't nobody going to believe this shit. Something.
Right.
So So I get folks that say I don't believe it. I believe it, but I understand why folks wouldn't believe it. It's kind of like landing on the moon. Folks gonna say we didn't land on the moon, and I'm not gonna argue it because I wasn't there and I wasn't born at the time. But I get it. If you wasn't there and you didn't see it, how you supposed to believe that shit?
Right.
But Kobe, anything outside the top 10 to me is disrespectful. I saw I'm drawing a blank. Maybe Nick Wright and even Dr. J. They both released their top 10s, and they didn't have Kobe in them. And it's like, come on, man, you trying to tell me he wasn't one of the 10 best players to ever play the game? It's like, come on, man. It's like, let's be real here. Well, I mean, I know what I saw, I know what I witnessed, and during the time when Kobe played, when he was still playing, there were folks that were trying to put him, like you mentioned earlier, in the GOAT conversation. and when you look at his whole career, there's just not many that match up with him. So for me, outside the top 10 is disrespectful. It'd be hard for me to have a good conversation with basketball with somebody who doesn't have it in the top 10. But, it's going to be what it's going to be. Folks have their opinions, and if you're going to have a good discussion about it, you got to be able to respect their opinions, state your case, and move on. So, it's going to be what it's going to be. But so where do you have Kobe at in your list? Because I know you got Tim Duncan ahead of him, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm sure there's some others you have above him. So I'll go on and let you have the floor. Where you got Kobe ranked all time in your list?
Kobe's somewhere on that back end of the top 10.
All right,
he's somewhere 8, 9. I don't 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. You've got 5 rings. Now, I think different. Can I say that? I can say that.
Yeah.
Every ring doesn't hold the same amount of weight for me. Now, I don't want to diminish Kobe's heavily, but I do also say you played with Shaquille O'Neal.
Right.
And movable force. He's got a Superman tattoo for a reason. 7'1", 335 pounds, born in a test tube, 2% body fat, whatever it is. Like, this is Shaq.
Right.
I think part of what triggers me is I think guys minimize what Shaq was as a player, as if we didn't watch this guy dominate. So who was in the finals? Rick Smits was just like paper. He was just going through Rick Smits.
Right.
Aaron McCullough and Kenya Martin. Did they have Matt Geiger at the time? I think they had Matt Geiger.
Right.
I mean, it was just like those guys weren't there. And it's like, no, Matt Geiger is 7 foot, 325 pounds. And it was just like, this human doesn't exist. And to do that, what Shaq is as a human, as a basketball player, is just like, how?
Right.
It's really the biggest how, like in sports. And they say Wilt was of that making, which is also another thing. Like, we got 2 of these dudes in one sport. Like, that's absurd. But Shaq is so impressive. I go, guys, if we go into degree of difficulty. So I love what Magic did in his career. I love what Bird did. They both came in a ready-made situation.
Yeah.
They came in teams that were already ready to win a championship or compete. And then they were just that extra piece. And it was like, okay, which is why you see these guys through the 80s able to form this beautiful rivalry and face each other numerous times in the championship and kind of derail each other almost from the GOAT, like from a guaranteed GOAT status. If one of these guys isn't in the league, the other one probably gets 6, 7 rings. Yeah. I think Magic went 5 and 4.
Something like that.
Magic won. And did he lose to the Celtics? How many times did he lose to the Celtics?
2 or 3. I can't remember offhand. I know 2 or 3. At least 2.
Yeah, so if you go 2 to the Celtics, 1 to the Pistons, 1 to the Lakers. 1 to the Lakers, 1 to the Pistons, 1 to the Bulls. Yep. So, yeah, man, I'm going, if it wasn't the Bird, he probably had 7 rings. Right. And it's probably like, hey, guys, that's our GOAT. We don't even need to talk about MJ, LeBron, Kobe, anybody. That's our GOAT. So those guys came into some beautiful situations.
All right.
The only other guy I believe came into a situation comparable to that is Kobe. Now, was the team already formulated around Shaq? You know what I mean? For those 2 guys to come in and be day one, no.
Right.
But you had the most dominant player in the NBA teamed up with this like Timu MJ. And you got these 2 guys coming together. Now, the talent from Kobe was unbelievable. And I believe he was a better talent than Michael Jordan, just natural talent. I think he was better than Michael Jordan. I know that's crazy to say,
right?
But I think he was a better natural basketball player, possibly, than Michael Jordan.
Okay.
But to put that guy with that guy and put them on the same roster, it's like, okay, it's only a matter of time before they take over this league.
Right.
They won 3 straight, and then we get the number 4. We get the Magic number 4. And then you get a major chink in the armor because you go 4-1. You lose 4-1 to the Detroit Pistons. They have no megastar. They've got a bunch of guys that can really ball, really well-constructed team.
Yeah, very
defensive team. Larry Brown, we got length, we got athleticism, but it's Kobe, it's Shaq, it's Karl Malone, it's Gary Payton. You still got old Rick Fox and Derek Fisher. You got the guys to win the ring. this is where Kobe falls apart. I think Kobe shoots 38% in that series.
Hey, Tayshaun D'd that man up, man. You know, we know what we saw.
Tay's the man. Tayshaun is the man. I don't like many Wildcats. I love Tayshaun Prince. He's the man.
I hear you.
But you're Kobe Bryant, and we're putting you in this rare era. And I go, hey, Kobe, I know who he is. I understand who he is. Probably Moncrief, Allen, Pippen, Jordan, Kobe. And I know I'm missing some guys, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but if he's not on their level, like prime Tayshaun, he's just a step below the guys that we just named. Like he's up there with the all-time great defenders.
Right.
But Kobe, and if we're calling you top three, Tayshaun got to get cooked 3-4 games. He's got to get 30, and I got to shoot 45 to 50%, and I got to kind of let him know I'm Kobe fucking Bryant, and that's just the way it is.
Right.
We didn't see that entire series. I think he scored 9 points one game. I think he went like 2 for 14 one game. He had some dreadful performances. Now, we give LeBron hell smoked by that Mavs team. And he got outplayed by Jason Terry and a couple of guys. Rip Hamilton had a silently great series standing across from Kobe Bryant.
Right.
So I go, man, you know, not only do you have Tayshaun Prince slowing you down when I don't think, damn, that's a loaded statement. Don't say it. I don't think Tayshaun Prince locks up Dwayne Wade like that if they're in the finals. I don't think he does.
Okay.
I also don't think Tayshaun Prince locks up. Don't say it. LeBron James. I don't think he locks up LeBron like that because we watched LeBron run off 25 straight points.
Oh, yeah.
Against Tayshaun.
Yeah, he gave it to him.
So I'm going, you're Kobe. And not being disrespectful, I go, you're Kobe. I expect you to go out here and show me something that says, hey, I'm Kobe freaking Bryant.
Right.
He laid a complete goose egg.
Yeah.
That's one of the very
in fairness, the whole team did.
They went to bed.
Just him.
What is
Karl Malone didn't play all that much in the finals, so they didn't
Karl
have him.
Malone was, Now, we'll say Karl Malone was done.
He was.
I think they thought he had more left in the tank, and it was like, God, he can play, but he's not what you paid for.
Right. And he wasn't. And that has to be taken into account. If we're going to talk about that Lakers super team, that it has to be taken into account that Karl Malone was a shell of himself at that time, as was Gary Payton. Even though the Lakers did make the finals, that team never played up to the potential that we thought it could play up to. And that's not to say that Kobe shouldn't have played better in the finals. I'm just saying they were good enough to be the best in the West, but I didn't think they were good enough. And of course, this is 20 years later or whatever, but they simply weren't good enough to beat that Detroit Pistons team at that time. You know, I think when we look back, we have an opportunity to take a look at that Detroit Pistons team and see just how good they were, how well put together they were, how well coached they were. And quite frankly, they were just a better team at the time. And in the NBA, we know you can prove who's the better team because in a 7-game series, the cream is going to rise to the top. We're going to know who the better team is at the end of the NBA series. It ain't like football where it's one and done and some stupid shit can happen like Mark Andrews fumbling the ball and then not being able to catch a wide open pass. Stupid shit like that happens, and it's a one and done situation, and that shit's over with. In basketball, we don't have to worry about that. The best team is going to show up. So looking back at that time, while the Lakers probably should have won that series, it's easy to say they should have won that series, but looking back, the Detroit Pistons were really a good team, and they showed they were a good team because they stuck around for a little bit after that. Granted, that was their only finals win in that time period, but that team proved to be a nuisance to everybody because we saw what LeBron had to do just to pull a victory out of there. And as good as it was that he did and as unforgettable of a performance that was, he still had to do all that to get past the Detroit Pistons. So I don't
Daniel Boobie Gibson, we forgot about Boobie Gibson's game.
Right.
I'm that guys. Didn't he have 31 and hit like 9 threes? He had a game where he was just out of his mind.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, and some weird shit happened in that series with Detroit and Cleveland. Was it Damon Jones or Mo Williams? One of those two guys went for like 30 in a different game. And you're going, bro, are you serious? Like they picked the right time, but I think that team particularly was well constructed.
Yeah,
they
really
did
was.
what nobody thought they would do at the time because they had guys like Danielle Marshall just sitting in the corner. Hey, Ben Wallace, come over here with me. You know, come hang out, get out the paint. You know, so they could do some things to that Detroit defense.
Did they have Rasheed Wallace on that team too?
They had Sheed. Yeah, but you know, you spread that floor a little bit more with Boobie Gibson, Damon Jones, Mo Williams. I think they had Danielle Marshall, Wally Zerbiak.
Right.
It's like, hey, we can all shoot. So if I put Danielle in at the 4 and go a little small ball, LeBron gets free reign to the rim. So I don't think the Lakers did I don't think it was centered around Kobe.
Right.
And I don't think it should have been because Shaq was so dominant, even though Kobe had just had a great series the year before. Was that the year before? The year before.
I think it was the year before. That 2004 playoff run is, granted, they made the finals and lost to Detroit, but a lot of that run is unforgettable because I should say it is forgettable because when you look at some of Kobe's great playoff runs, you never see 2003, 2004 mentioned.
Yeah, but that year before I think that's the finals. Is that the finals? That's the year when him and Shaq both averaged 30, I want to say.
I think so.
The ridiculous year, and it's just like, bro, that was like some shit you do on 2K or Live where you just create players, and it's like you can't stop either one of them. You couldn't stop either one of those bastards. So I think that's a major chink in the armor. And some guys kind of just dismiss it. Oh, Detroit was this and that. Detroit did go to another finals. They lose to Robert Horry pretty much. Game 7, Robert Horry scores like 7 in a row.
Right.
Hits the shot. I think he gets a tip dunk or some weird crap, and then hits another 3 and breaks Detroit's heart. But I just expect more out of my guy if I'm gonna call him top 3.
Okay.
So another major chink in the armor that I got from Kobe. Guys, did we forget the first championship? Okay, maybe this isn't a bad mark, but did we forget the first championship?
In 2000, 2001?
Yeah, so I'm like, guys, that's called Shaquille freaking O'Neal.
Right.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I'm a little younger, but I think Kobe got hurt that series too.
It was the one against Indiana where he got hurt.
And he got hurt.
Yeah, Jalen Rose stepped on his ankle on purpose.
Yep.
And the rest was history as far as Kobe. He just wasn't the same in that series, but they still pulled it out. They still pulled it out. And he had a decent ending to that series, but those like game 2 and game 3, those pretty bad. But my man was walking around on one leg, so I'll give him a pass on that.
Right. And I think I'll say that speaks more to the brilliance of Shaq.
Absolutely.
Like, Shaq that year was just like, hey, I don't care who you are. You could have put the Bulls up against that guy. I don't know if you stopped him. I don't know if 96 Bulls are stopped. I don't know if anybody's stopping that dude.
Right.
Because he averaged like 37, 38, 13, 14 rebounds. And I'm going, okay, you had that guy. Most superstar players don't get to say, hey, my ankle's jacked up.
Right.
Oh, fuck it. Get a ball to Shaq, and we just don't waste the trophy anyway. Most guys don't get to say that.
Right.
So Kobe had a luxury. Is it his fault that he got Shaq? No. I just was drafted to the Hornets, and they were stupid enough to trade me to the fucking Lakers. Fucking idiots. But
and they're still stupid to this day.
And can't get it right, and Jordan couldn't get it right, and nobody will go to Charlotte and write that shit. It's just a cursed city, and they can go to hell. It's never going to be right. That's probably and they're probably in the Mamba curse phase now. All right, so let's take these gloves off really quick.
All right,
2000 finals.
Okay,
I don't have to be the great Kobe Bryant, even though I'm hurt. Shaquille O'Neal, 38 points per game.
Right,
17 rebounds. He shot 61%. Yeah, that's probably the best finals ever. I don't know if anybody's touching that. So we got 2001. 33 points, 16 rebounds, 57%.
All right. What was Kobe's averages at that 2001?
Let me find that 2001 Kobe. You got it on hand already. Go ahead, because I know you got it.
I got it close. Let me see here.
I know he cooked both of those years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Let's see. I got 2001 playoffs, the entire playoffs.
Playoffs, cool.
Shaq averaged 30.4 points, 15.4 rebounds, 2.4 blocks. Kobe averaged 29.4 points, 7.3 rebounds, 6.1 assists. That is in 2001. So I mean, if we're gonna call him the sidekick, then he's gonna be called the greatest sidekick to ever play in the history of the game.
Period. Now I won't disrespect that. I say, hey guys. Well, guys get mad when you say he was the sidekick. I'm like, wait.
Well, when they say it, they're being disrespectful. We can't front on that.
Okay, I'm not. I'm like, no. I'm like, that's Shaq.
Right.
It's like when you call D-Wade the sidekick during that LeBron run. You're like, okay, it's LeBron, and you weren't the same D-Wade. Your knee was falling off the bone. What do you want me to say? So it's like, it's Shaq. There's no disrespect in being Shaq's sidekick, even if you went for 30 a game, 37 and 6. That's all crazy. It's like, Shaq allows you to do so much because the double teams that he started to see when Shaq left, I know he was like, what the fuck is this? Like, oh, there's 3 of y'all. You're not going to guard Smush Parker or Chris Mihm or Kwame Brown. You said, fuck it, stop Kobe, and we got a chance to win. And they still end up winning like 36 games, which people, oh, that's bad. I'm like, well, the team around him was ass. And he still won 36 games. That's a 17-win team, probably you take Kobe off. So, if that. So I'm going, no, he was still fucking great. But at the same time, what can I do other than jack up shots? that portion of his career, I give him a break for that. I say, where's your field goal percentage, man? But I gotta shoot because these guys
Yes.
suck. So I'll give him credit for that. Now,
Right.
2002, Pat decided I'm going to be captain asshole again. 36 points, 12 rebounds, 60% shooting, another Finals MVP. That's the year Kobe went off too.
Right. Kobe had in the playoffs, he averaged 26.6, 5.8, and 4.6. So he was still doing his thing. And if I ain't mistaken, that was against Philadelphia, right? Against Dikembe Mutombo and AI. And they won that one like 4-1, right?
4-1. AI won the first game. What do you go? 48 in that first game.
Yeah.
48 in the first game, and everybody.
Yeah.
My stupid ass as a how old was I don't know AI fan. We're trying to win this series. Whoosh, whoosh. I was like, shit, this hurts because there was nothing. I just thought I like Mutombo, man. You know, I always liked him, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna slow Shaq. No, you're not. No, you're not. There's nothing you're gonna be able to do with Shaquille O'Neal.
No, especially in that time period. You know, that's one of the things that I've always said is Kobe played with Shaq when Shaq was at the exact tip top of his game. And if we're going to be real about it, Shaq is the reason that they fell apart. Shaq has admitted that he's the reason they fell apart. And if Shaq would have been the teammate he was capable of being, because we all know Shaq's a horrible teammate. You know, I'm not going to get into him dumping buckets of piss and shit on his own teammates and this, that, and the other. We knew what we were dealing with Shaq. If Shaq was half the teammate he could have been, then the Lakers could have ran off 5-6 titles. And they might have won in 2004. Because that's one thing that also needs to be brought up when we're talking about 2004. And I hate to do it because it sounds like an excuse, and I don't want to make it sound like an excuse. But in 2003, that was when Kobe got that rape charge. And when he said, when he went in there and he said, and this is shit on Kobe, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to, Kobe's my dude, but, you know, when he went in there and said, y'all do this for Shaq, can y'all do it for me? When he snitched on Shaq, that created some shit in the locker room that I don't think they ever recovered from. And while Shaq has been man enough to never bring that up and to never admit it, we both know as dudes, there ain't no way that you can get around that kind of shit sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And we don't know what that dynamic was in that locker room.
Yeah.
And we never will know. Because like I said, Shaq's been man enough to never bring it up. He's never admitted it. And if he did, I wouldn't be mad at him. But there's just no way that their relationship was going to survive something like that when Kobe went to the police and said, y'all do it for Shaq. I expect y'all to do it for me. To me, that's when everything got fucked up. And so the fact they even made the finals in 2004 was a shock to me, but it also was a testament to how good Shaq and Kobe were. Now, to transition from that to where they could have gone, after that, if Shaq gets in shape and does what Kobe says, he don't have to do everything Kobe says. All he got to do is care a little bit because Shaq never gave a fuck. And he got by on his physical abilities his entire time that he was in the NBA. And it showed once them abilities went away because we saw when he went to Miami and won with Dwayne Wade, he was averaging like 16, 17 points a game. And the fact that Dwayne Wade won a title with Shaq in 2006, with Shaq playing like that, I mean, that's a testament to how good Dwayne Wade was. And to me, Dwayne Wade's always going to be the best shooting guard right after Kobe for shit like that. I got him number 3 on my list.
Agreed.
But to go back to what I was saying, a lot of what happened with them was just shit that they never were gonna recover from. So as a result, you know, it came to an end and Kobe had to go on to his second act. And when I get into where I rank Kobe with my greatness, a lot of it has to do with his second act. Because we watched that man go, like you said earlier, with Smush Parker. He had Kwame Brown. He had just guys that it was difficult to win with. And he went above and beyond. You know, we're going to talk about the 81-point game that he had. I mean, that's insane. And the most insane part about that 81-point game is he had 2 layups and 2 dunks. So he had so other than that, it was all jumpers and free throws. So when we talk about this man putting on an offensive class, that's what he did in that game. And so when folks say T-Mac was as good as Kobe or T-Mac would have done this, that, and done with Kobe, I'm like, well, why didn't T-Mac do it when he didn't have Kobe? Because we saw what Kobe did without Shaq. We saw what Kobe was capable of doing without Shaq. And T-Mac never had Shaq. And so T-Mac was the dude who never got out the first round. So I'm like, how's your non-first round going to say what you would have done with this, that, and the other when all you had to do to further the argument was get out of the first round? So we're going to do this little quick transition to T-Mac because I know you have a lot to say about T-Mac.
Yes, sir.
How is it somebody like T-Mac can compare himself to Kobe Bryant and folks be like, you know what, that man is right?
The version of T-Mac, because I got that somewhere, and I'm going to pull these stats up. Let me pull this up.
You got time.
Now, that version of T-Mac that wasn't able to get over the hump. And we're giving, hey man, not only out of the first round, like that hump, it's like, okay, that's a small hump. Melo did me the favor the other day. I don't know why he would give me this ammo, but he's like, yeah, man, those Orlando teams weren't garbage. It was Gordon Gurachek and Pat Garrity and Darrell Armstrong and Drew Golden, and I'm going, exactly. One ankle Grant Hill. Was he supposed to get out of the first round with that team? So what year they were 3-1 in 2000? Was that 2004?
I'm not sure offhand. I know. Shit. Seemed like he went to Houston like 2005, 2000, something like that.
So I want to say that was 2004. I'm like, guys, do y'all remember how he played that series? I think he averaged like 30 points per game, 5 rebounds. I'm like, what else do you want him to do with Gordon Gurachek and Pat Garrity playing real minutes? I'm like, dude, they belong at the local YMCA. They did what they did. They stood, they shot, they hit open threes. But anything beyond that, it was like, you're a liability on the court. You don't belong here. But T-Mac's supposed to get out the first round with that. Again, you're playing Detroit, so you're a 7 or 8 seed at that. You weren't supposed to win the series at all. So people look at the fact that he went up 3-1. I'm going, how the hell do you go up 3-1 playing with me, Nephew Q, Derek Stevenson, and Jason Alexander as your help? There's no way in hell you go up 3-1. It's not possible. He did that with those guys. And then we turn around and we look, and we say, damn, wait, that's almost the exact same team that beat the Lakers 4-1. So when you say, okay, wait a minute, this dude found a way to win 3 games against that team, it's a hell of an impressive feat. You don't want to lose. You don't want to lose in the first round.
Right.
You don't want to lose up 3-1. That's some Doc Rivers special shit going on because he was the coach of Orlando at that time. That's just what the hell he does.
That's hilarious.
It's the Doc Rivers special, but you're like, dude, I want to blame him, but I don't want to say it's the worst thing I've ever seen because of the way he played during that series. So in closeout games, this was what I was looking. I'm like, man, how did T-Mac play in closeout games? They get the chance to close out Utah, and I forget who hit the shot to break his back, literally. But May 5th, 2007, he goes for 29, 5, 13, and shoots 48% against Utah. I'm sorry, that's game 7. He goes, 29, 5, 13 assists, shoots 48%. They go home. So I'm going, okay, guys, when it's time to play the big game, when everything is counting, he showed up. What was his other closeout game? Now, this is a horrible one. Against Detroit that same year, they cooked his ass. 21 points on 29% shooting. They got to him. But other years, 26, 10, 3, 27 and 7, 40% shooting. It's like, hey, man, that's enough for me to, if I got a sidekick named Shaquille O'Neal, and I give you 27, if I give you 26, 10, and 3, and I got Shaq, we should be advancing in this game 7. I think that we're going to be advancing in this game 7. Nonetheless, he never had that guy. Moody, this is for your punk ass. Oh, well, he had Yao. Listen, brother, he had Yao, and they were both hurt almost the entire time. Yao played healthy his first 3 years in Houston, and we saw this big bastard can play. He's going to be a problem. He's 7'6". He's 320 pounds. They all have glass feet. Chris Jones, I owe you one. Chris Jones said if Yao Ming played with the great Kobe Jamal Bryant, he would not have been injured all the time of the Mamba mentality. And it pissed me off that he said Mamba mentality because I really hate that. So now this Negro is the healer of bones. Like Ralph Sampson. What happened to Ralph Sampson? That's 7'1", 7'2", 7'3". All those guys, your foot, your ankle, it cannot support the weight and to continue, up and down, it can't sustain that.
It even happened to Shaq.
Everybody.
His feet. Granted, he hung on a ring chase for a long time, but it was his feet that was his demise. So
it was all those big guys. So I'm going, guys, Yao Ming was 7'6", 7'5", 7'6". Yeah, he had a 8-year playing career, 8 or 9 years. He didn't play very long because of those feet. Nothing Kobe Bryant did was going to fix those feet. Maybe if Kobe gets there in that first 3-year window when Yao Ming is healthy and playing at a 19 and 12 guy during that time, maybe they do get a ring. But T-Mac got there that 4th year. Yao gets hurt that year. The next year is the year when T-Mac's back started to fail him, when his back literally just started to fall apart.
Right.
They played, 7 playoff games together in total, I believe, or something ridiculous.
Right. I looked it up about a week ago. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. I know it'd be on my phone, and my phone's my camera, so I can't go find it.
And I'm the same way.
I know that I know that they literally only had, if I ain't mistaken, like 1 playoff series where they were both healthy at the same time. And granted, they still lost in the first round. But out of the years that they played together, it seemed like there was only 1 year where they were both at the same time healthy enough to play in the playoffs.
Yep.
So,
that was
yeah, I understand what you're saying, man.
2000. That was 2005. They lose to Dallas, and they were
All right.
both healthy. 2005. Every year after that, they both played hurt. Where is it? Somewhere on all these daggone notes. They both played hurt. 2006, they don't make the playoffs. 2007, during that series, it's like
Right.
every year something bad. They just had to curse. Like they could not figure out how to get out of the injury bug. The injury bug
Right.
literally said, "We don't know how good or great you guys ever could have been, and we will never fucking know because somebody's going to be hurt every year." Can I blame T-Mac? 2005, yeah, take the blame. You could say first year together. Most guys don't win with their first year together. Kobe and Shaq, Dwayne Wade and LeBron,
Right.
Michael and Scotty. Nobody really wins their first year together except for Kareem and daggone Magic. But
John.
everybody else, you losing, and you're gonna cry about it, and you'll be back next year. They
Right.
didn't win, but it's kind of like y'all had enough talent to win. So I'll say that. Any other year, and when I look around, I go, it's either injuries or you were stuck in sorry ass Orlando. He had about 3 years in Orlando when he averaged over 30 points a game, over 6 assists, and over 5 rebounds. So that's the 3-year section that I want to point out.
Okay.
If we get that prime Tracy McGrady and we slap him anywhere into the Shaquille O'Neal Laker era, I don't care. You put him at the front end or at the back end. Whenever Shaq was there, you put him there, including the Orlando year. That's a championship.
Well, yeah, sure.
So it's not, and it's not that he's better than Kobe, but that's a championship. That 3-year T-Mac is, he's the 4th greatest shooting guard of all time. And I'm sorry to disrespect Clyde Drexler like that. But for me, Clyde is 4, and I'm like, if T-Mac could have stayed healthy and had another 4 or 5 years of this shit, if he could have put a 7-year window together, he's easily slotted in as my 4th greatest shooting guard of all time. Okay. Even if he doesn't get the ring, I'm like, the dude was just a badass. You got to give it to him. Without the ring, Clyde Drexler has 2 rings? Yeah, you gotta scoot over. Clyde Drexler got some jewelry on his hand, and you don't get to surpass him. And James Harden and him get to fight over the next spot. I don't care who goes there, honestly. Right. But man, when you take that caliber of T-Mac, the guy that Kobe himself said, hey, he was my biggest headache in the NBA, period. And when you take what he did at his peak, anybody telling me that him and Shaq not winning the title is like, bro, meet me in the streets, bring your hands, and let's just figure it out, bro. Like, I got 30 seconds of fighting in me. I might be fat and out of shape, but come on, bro. Like, there's no way in hell you believe he's not getting that ring. The Pau Gasol ring.
T-Mac ain't getting those. You know that. T-Mac was never that leader. That's part of his problem. He was never that leader.
Okay, I'm hearing you. Go ahead with that one. I like this.
So it took Kobe pretty much extorting the Los Angeles Lakers to getting him what he needed in order to be able to compete for titles, which is what the end game is. So they had to go out and get Pau. Now, Pau Gasol was a great player. You know, if I ain't mistaken, he's either in the Hall of Fame or probably going to be there one day. But I think Pau Gasol gets glazed because of his time with Kobe. I'm not going to act like Pau Gasol wasn't good, but if Pau Gasol didn't play with Kobe, Pau Gasol ain't getting no rings. Pau Gasol ain't leading no team to no rings. Pau Gasol without Kobe is shit. Who's a
Carlos Boozer?
Yeah, Carlos Boozer. That's
maybe Carlos Boozer. Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah, Carlos Boozer. Because Pau's going to give you 16 and 12. But Pau is not going to be that guy. He never was going to be that guy. But when it came to what Kobe needed, he was that perfect piece because he relieved that pressure on Kobe. You had to respect him. You had to guard him. And he was that big man who could score, he could shoot, he could pass, he could rebound. He was that versatile big man who could do it all. And truthfully, Kobe helped take that man's game to a whole nother level. So we never saw T-Mac do that with anybody. Now, and I'm not trying to knock T-Mac on that. What I'm saying is T-Mac was going to go out and get his. T-Mac was going to go out and do what T-Mac did. But T-Mac was never expected, or he never did elevate that team to a whole nother level. And that's partly why he never got out the first round. Because in order to get out the first round, you have to elevate your team regardless of who's on there. And if we're going to talk about that Rocket team, yes, Yao Ming was hurt. He still had Shane Battier. He still had Ron Artest. So he still had pieces. And I'm not saying those are pieces that he needs to win the title, but those are pieces that can help him get out the first round. Because we watched Shane Battier do it with Miami. We watched Ron Artest do it with Kobe Bryant. So we know it's possible for them dudes to elevate their games to a whole nother level when they're put around the right pieces. That's probably my main knock on T-Mac when folks get to saying, well, he would have done this, that, and the other. Another thing I think about, Remember when the Lakers were playing Portland in the Western Conference Finals and they got down 22 points? Back, 20 years ago, it was one of the highlights we saw all the time was Kobe throwing that alley-oop to Shaq and Shaq knocking that dunk down and the Lakers taking that lead. That was young Kobe then. That was still young, immature, don't give a fuck. I'm the greatest player you've ever seen, Kobe Bryant back then. And that man was what, 19, 20, 21 years old?
20.
So if we're going to talk about, if you're going to say prime T-Mac would have won with Shaq, I'm not going to disagree because we watched young before his prime Kobe do it. And we know what prime T-Mac was. Prime T-Mac wasn't no joke. I'm never going to shit on prime T-Mac. I always remember, when my kids were young, they liked T-Mac more than Kobe. So I've been having this T-Mac versus Kobe conversation for a long fucking time. And it's just one of those things. I'm never going to disrespect T-Mac because I know what he was. I saw what he was. And he really was that guy. He really was that guy at that time. It's just hard for me to put him at the same tier as Kobe because his peak was not as long as Kobe's and his peak was not as great as Kobe's, but his peak was still one of the greatest peaks that we saw in the game of basketball. So because of that, I'm not going to shit on T-Mac. It's just hard for me to say that T-Mac was ever going to be as good as Kobe because he just simply wasn't.
I'm not going to say he was going to be as good as him. I never would say that because I don't ever want to disrespect Kobe like that.
All right.
I don't hate Kobe. Just the fans get carried away sometimes. I gotta do something I didn't come prepared to do today. I've got to do something that I wasn't prepared to do. I got to see a point. I got to bow out gracefully because you made a hell of a point when you said leadership. Because Paul Gasol said out of his own mouth, when I got to the Lakers, I just didn't know, some of the things it took just to win, and some of the stuff that it took to win over 82 game season. He was like, I can have a good 50, 60 games and then kind of taper off, spiral. He just didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael did the exact same thing with Scotty.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty came in, everybody's like, yo, that young bastard can play. And MJ is looking like, he ain't ready, man. I got to keep kicking him in his ass, because you're not ready. And that's what Paul Gasol gave kudos to Kobe for. Like, hey, I knew how to prepare for a game. I knew what to expect. He put that dog in him. Hey, man, this is how you win a championship. I didn't give Kobe credit for that.
Right.
I didn't give Kobe credit for that.
Right.
And as a guy, because I give Tim Duncan credit for stuff like that, man. When you're selfless or you can motivate guys to play, Tim Duncan could have had a year where he averaged 30 easily, but he's like, no, I got to keep Manu involved. I got to keep Tony involved. Here, Bruce Bowen shoot some corner threes. Like, I got to do this stuff to win because I'm not going to win as many rings if I just put the entire team on my back because there's going to be games when I'm shit. And it's game 6 and we're down, 3-2. And I need Manu to go for 30. And I need him to have that confidence. And Manu can never have that confidence if Tim isn't selfless. So with Tim being so selfless and okay with sharing the spotlight, he got to develop some guys around him that probably under a Kobe or Michael Jordan, a LeBron, they wouldn't have developed. These guys are saying, man, all I do is stand here and watch you shoot and get 40, which is cool, but damn.
Right.
Tim Duncan went about it a different way. Yeah, I'll average 24. Yeah, whatever. I'll just get an extra block a game. It's cool. Don't worry about it. And now I can get 5 rings. In the Kobe era, I can get 5 rings and make people have a real debate about, hey, whose era was that? So the way that you lead, whether it's rah-rah, whether it's a foot in the ass, whether it's by example, a good teammate, whatever it is, I think we got that about the Kobe aspect. Because like you said, Paul Gasol, on our test, Trevor Ariza, you know what I mean? I'm starting to look at that list and I'm going, Derek Fisher and him came up together.
Yeah.
But I would like to say Derek Fisher, got some of that Kobe rub off.
Absolutely. How good would Derek Fisher would have been? And I'm not going to sit here and pump up Derek Fisher like he was some great point guard or whatnot. But a lot of his greatest moments came as a result of playing with Kobe Bryant.
And I never took time to consider his leadership because I take Michael's leadership and I think he was a complete asshole. But I think sometimes militancy works in certain occasions. It's like, the drill sergeant is here. Tighten the fuck up. Get your shit together. And it works. So I will say, okay, I grossly underestimated Kobe's ability to do that. And maybe that is the punk-ass Mamba mentality. Or maybe that's the Mamba mentality. I don't know. But the ability to get guys to buy in.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And you're talking about a grown man that's making, what was Paul making back then? Probably 19, 20 million a year with a fine-ass Spanish wife somewhere. And I'm the man. And over my country, I'm God. And I'm what you are here in my country. How dare you? Kobe had to be great as hell to make that guy that has a country that's on his back. Like, no, buy into this shit. And not only are you going to be the man there, you're going to be the man in LA as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? That's a huge disservice and a discredit to Kobe on that, because leadership means everything in sports.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
and the point where you said he had to deal with Shaq. Shaq dumping shit on people and shitting in shoes, and I'm just
Man.
like,
Yeah, man. It's like, it's trying to put Kobe in that situation where Shaq's running around doing that kind of shit and Kobe's literally powerless to stop it. That's some wild shit. And it's like, man, just think if they could have just reined in some of that shit, just some of it. But who's gonna stop Shaq? You know what I'm saying? You know, they said back in the day it was always a urban legend that that Shaq slapped shit out of Kobe one time.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? What are you gonna do when 7 foot 350 pounds slaps shit out of you, man? What you gonna do? You're not gonna fight him, and
You can't do much.
Yeah, all you can do is kill him, and you know you're not gonna kill him. So all you gotta do is sit there and you got grin and bear and take that shit, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what they were dealing with, and they were still winning titles on top of that.
And still winning titles.
And it's crazy to think what they really could have been and what they really could have done if they could have reined some of that shit in.
Shaq got to be the biggest idiot. In that, I'm going, dude. Even if, okay, yeah, I'm the man. If your hindsight is even, if you got a piece of intelligence in your head saying, hold on, bro, he gonna get me a whole nother contract. He gonna get me a couple more. It's like, okay, I just need to pass the baton when it's time. Man, you know what? Let me stop acting a fucking fool. Let me get off his back, because I'm kind of hating, because I see the writing on the wall that, okay, maybe 2 more years. I'm injured now, and I know what's going to happen, but I need to stay in LA. I need to make this young fucker happy. Hey, Kobe, that shit I did at the beginning of your career, man, I was a bully. I was a hoe. I'm sorry. I apologize, bro. And you know what, man, I'm going to be honest. I see what you were going to become. This was going to be your shit, and I never wanted you to have it. But, man, I think we can win 7. Fuck MJ. I think we can win 7.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go win 7? Man, you know what? Okay, look, I'm going to be honest, man. That foot. So this is my last year. We're going to go out here and smack Detroit, but it's yours after this.
Mm-hmm.
You can have it after this. But like you said, swinging on that man, it's like, bro, you know how large you are. Like, swinging on this guy, bro. No, come on, man. Like, what are we doing?
You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it.
I'm gonna give Kobe even more credit for dealing with Shaq, because we all know he was a class clown. He was a complete asshole, and he's more so like my way or the highway. And like you said, when you 7 foot whatever, 380 pounds, all muscle, and you slap somebody, they can't do shit about it.
No.
So it's like, for Kobe to deal with that, it's like, okay, that's another piece to the puzzle where you got to say, because me, I'm not humble at all. I'm like, hey, man, trade me to Milwaukee. I don't care where you send me somewhere else.
Right.
Because if you slap me again, we got to do something different. So
yeah.
Damn, that's 2 points that you made.
Had to get Gilbert Arenas up in this motherfucking roll up in the locker room strap.
Bro, Shaq, never again. Chitty chitty bang bang. Like, we're not doing this, bro. So that's 2 things. Now we gotta. I have one more thing on here that I definitely got to cover, because I want to make sure I don't forget.
All right.
So, did Pau Gasol deserve the Finals MVP in 2010?
Hell no.
Now, come on, man. Kobe shot.
I'll say it like this:
39%.
Kobe had one bad game, and that was Game 7, and that was the only game he had shooting. Pau Gasol had a game where he scored 13 points and a game where he scored 12 points. Whereas Kobe's worst game was Game 7 when he had 24 on 6 of 24 shooting. So the other games that he had in there, those games were all games that were worthy of Finals MVP, to the point where Jeff Van Gundy even said Kobe Bryant should probably win Finals MVP even if the Lakers lose this series. And he said that in Game 6. So there's never going to be a moment where I'm going to be able to say Pau Gasol should have got it. Pau Gasol played great, but he was not the catalyst. He was not that man. And even when Kobe shot bad in Game 7, he still had 15 rebounds. And if I'm not mistaken, he still made the game-winning assist to Ron Artest to hit that one shot at the paint. You know, all that was brought on Kobe. So I'm not going to sit here and say that Pau Gasol should have been a Finals MVP over him. I don't know what Dwayne Wade was talking about there, man. You know what I'm saying? Florida don't have recreational weed, so I don't know what that man was smoking. I don't know what he was going through. I don't know what he was doing. But I do know this. I know Dwayne Wade called LeBron James back in 2010 and said, hey, man, we got to catch Kobe. So, hey, whatever, D-Wade, you can say whatever you want to. The fact of the matter is, you ain't never catch Kobe, D-Wade. LeBron still ain't caught Kobe, and that motherfucker's still playing ball right now. So I ain't trying to hear shit from D-Wade, and I ain't trying to hear shit from LeBron James, either one of the motherfuckers, man, whatever. Y'all do what y'all got to do. When y'all catch Kobe, holla at your boy, and then we can have that conversation.
It's a lot of crazy shit going on in the Wade house, all right? So we're going to chalk that up to that. But, man, look, Pau Gasol, what was he, 19 and 13 over that series, 48% shooting, 2 blocks a game, 3 assists a game, almost 4 assists a game. I hear what you're saying. Kobe where did it go? Where'd it go? Kobe,
Like 26.
26 a game, 7 rebounds, but his shooting was 40%. I'm like, damn, Kobe, what are we doing? He
Right, but
says,
we gotta. One thing I've always said, as long as I've always talked about when it comes to shooting percentage with Kobe, if folks can call it an excuse, say whatever, we have to look at the degree of difficulty of the shots that Kobe was taking. Kobe wasn't taking wide open shots. He wasn't sitting out here like Steph Curry getting picks so he could get free so he could take these shots. He was shooting these shots with 2-3 guys in his face. It wasn't a situation where he was out here missing wide open jumpers. So I know folks love to talk about the efficiency of Kobe. Kobe only shot 44% for his career, this, that, and the other. Kobe was a killer, and he was going to shoot, and it didn't matter who was there, who was in his face, he was going to shoot, and the degree of difficulty played a large part into why his shooting percentage was the way it was. If you put Kobe in today's game with the way they play defense now, there's no way this man ain't shooting somewhere between 45 and 52%.
Oh, agreed.
Because it's just much easier for him to get his shot off in today's game than it was back then. And I hate to say that they played defense back then, but the defense was much better back then. It was more organized as a team. It was more organized individually. And the focus was always on stopping whoever your number one scoring threat was. Whereas nowadays, it's a little bit more lax and it's a little bit more of a scheme. Hell, we got teams playing zone defense now. So it's a little bit different now compared to what it was when Kobe played. So the efficiency argument, I can understand it. But if we're going to have that argument on efficiency, we need to look at the whole picture and not just part of it.
That's a good point.
That's
Kobe. So I think for Kobe, it's a catch-22.
Yeah, it is.
Because that's why I was telling somebody the other day, I said, that's why you like him, because the shit he did looked unreal. Like the shots he was hitting, you're like, bro, how did he just hit that shot?
Yeah,
or the dunk, when is it Sprewell or Allen Houston's on his hip in New York? I think it's Sprewell. And when that motherfucker takes off, and you go, oh, he's going for up and under. And he decided, no, I'm dunking this motherfucker on your head.
Yeah.
It was like, bro, who does this? Like, go to hell.
Right.
What is this? Some of the fadeaways, the Iman Shumpert play where he spins, fakes, throws it off the backboard, catches it, kicks it out to the corner. You're like, Kobe, I do this on NBA streets.
Right.
Why are you doing this shit in real life?
Right.
When he messed his shoulder up and started shooting left hand against Dallas. It's just like, I tell people, I say, man, some of those images are so fucking piercing because nobody else did it. Like, yeah, I was telling someone they were overrating him. I said, yeah, look at the shit he did. 81 points. Oh, Jalen Rose. Remember what you did to my ankle?
Yeah.
Remember what you did to my ankle? I remember that. And I'm a lunatic.
Yeah, he is.
I'm going to bury you right now because you did that shit on purpose.
Yeah. And I still got love for you, Jalen.
And you my dog, but don't ever do no shit like that again or it's going to be 100. It might be 120. So it's just like, I see where he gets that because it's like, oh, the shit Kobe did, literally, we didn't even see Michael do some of this stuff. We're going, no, I haven't seen anybody else do it. Not T-Mac, not Wade, not Carter, not Wilkins, nobody. And it gets so ingrained in your mind, you're going, oh, shit, Kobe did that. Nobody else did that. Right. So I get that. It helps him, but like you said, it helps his lure. But if you're going to shoot shots like that, you're going to miss some. If you're going to shoot 2-3 guys in your face because you got Chris Mim and Kwame Brown on the floor, you're going to miss some. And it's like that's also fair too. So I think it hurts him and helps him all at the same time. Because I'll never forget most of his plays. I'll never forget the alley-oop. I'll never forget the dunk. I'll never forget him hitting that shot and pulling his titty meat out. I'll never forget any of that. It's like, this shit is awesome.
Right.
But at the same time, you see the shots in Game 7 of the finals, and then I get to brag and say, yeah, Ron Artest saved you. Paul Gasol saved you. You were horrible. And Tony Allen didn't even play, but we're not even going to bring that up.
I still remember watching that Game 7, and all I was thinking was, man, if he keeps shooting like this, they're not going to win. They're not going to win. And that's all I kept thinking, and that was my main fear. But they still found a way to win, and he still had he still put his imprint on the game, even though he couldn't hit shit that game.
And they locked up Ray. They locked up Ray Allen. Remember, Ray Allen was putrid that game. I want to say he was like 3 for 16 or some shit.
Right.
Because Rondo, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Rondo that game had like damn near 20 points, like 20 and 12. Rondo kept them in the game because Ray was horrible.
Right.
But you got Metal World Peace guarding you, and then you got Kobe guarding you, and then was Trevor Ariza on that team?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those they had all the fellas. Lamar Odom, all of them.
Those 3 dogs coming at you in waves. They let, like you said, they got this Mamba mentality. They done drank Kobe's secret stuff. Yeah. They feeling themselves, and it's like, oh, shit. Ray Allen, at that point, he didn't have that wiggle anymore. So it's kind of like, oh, you think you going to cook us? Paul better do something, or this crazy bastard KG, because it's over. Like, you're not getting off like that. So, yeah, that game, 79-80. If we had a game 7 in the NBA Finals in 79-80 right now, we would lose our shit.
Yeah, man, folks would be hot.
But
the old school folks would be like, "This is beautiful."
tomato.
Yeah.
Hey, who's better in elimination games, Kobe or T-Mac? Real quick.
In elimination games?
Yeah.
Are we talking record or stats?
We just talking in general. If I got an elimination game, if we talking elimination game,
record, we know the answer. If we talking stats, then it might be T-Mac off the top of my head. I would guess that T-Mac might have better stats in elimination games. But if we're talking record, I mean, we already know who's gonna have whose team's gonna have a better record in those elimination games. So there's some give and take in that one right there. I ain't gonna shit on T-Mac too much.
The crazy part is I can't fight because he has 0 elimination game wins. So it's like, well, shit, T-Mac, you kind of make it hard for me to make a point. You got 0 elimination game wins, you bastard. I need you to have at least 3 or 4 on here, but he has 0. Kobe in elimination games went 9 for 10 in elimination games. 22, 6, 3, 41% from the field. But he ranks, they put the comparison on here. He does rank behind your favorite player ever, LeBron James, the guy that you said is ranked ahead of him. And he ranks behind Michael Jordan on that list. And T-Mac, their field goal percentage is damn near the same, but T-Mac points per game is higher and rebounds per game is higher. But you got 0 wins. You have 0 wins. So it's kind of like, I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. I don't want to say empty stats, but at the very least, T-Mac went out fighting, and I can't front on that. That's all you want to see. Go out fighting, go out shooting, go out, empty the clip. Just like Kobe did in his very last game, man, empty the clip. I know to touch on that a little bit. When his last game came, all I wanted to see was him empty the clip. Kobe, it's the last time we're going to get to watch you play, empty the clip. So I know folks like to clown and say he went 17 to 50 and this, that, and the other. He scored 60, this, that, and the other. Man, watching that game was ultimate Kobe Bryant because they were losing. They came back, and that man just went. He went on a burner, and he got hot. I know he went 17 to 50, but third and fourth quarter, that man was not missing. And that shit, it shit brought tears to my eyes because I knew I wasn't never going to see it again. And I was grateful that he gave me exactly what I wanted to see, and they got the win on top of it.
That's one time I saw Kobe gunning, and I was like, man, shoot that bitch again. I'm just like, bro, there's no reason. This is your last game.
Yeah,
this
man.
Is your last game. And I've never been a Kobe guy. I've never really hated him, but I'm like, so I'd be like, bro, pass the ball. I just be pass the ball. I was like, shit, you might as well. And when they came back, I'm like, yo, I'm really sitting here rooting for Kobe going, oh shit. I'm literally losing my mind that last game because like you said, man, I'm never going to see this dude shoot up again, bro. And I grew up watching you. I probably started watching basketball, 3 years, 4 years before you started playing.
Yeah.
You are literally of my basketball life to this point.
Right.
And this is your last game. It felt weird. It was like, holy shit, Kobe's never going to play basketball again. And I remember thinking, what the hell is the NBA going to look like next year? Like, what are we going to do without Kobe? Even though I'm cheering against him, what are we going to do without Kobe?
Yeah, man. So, yeah.
I agree. Shoot it. Shoot that damn ball.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, before we head on out of here, I lost my train of thought, but I did want to say that one thing, being a Kobe fan for as long as I've been, the parallels, that's what it was. The parallels that you have with Kobe, because that when you said that you started watching basketball about 3 years before he got there, your feelings for Kobe were the same feelings I had for MJ. Like growing up, like I started watching basketball 83, I'm thinking somewhere around in there, 82, 83, somewhere around in there, right around when Philadelphia had Dr. J, Moses Malone. So that's how far I go back. So when Jordan came in, and when Jordan was at the height of his game, I couldn't stand Michael Jordan. And it took me a long time. And it probably took, and truthfully, it probably took watching Kobe for me to come to grips with Michael Jordan being the best player that I'd ever seen play. And I always felt like I did a disservice to myself with Michael Jordan because I felt like I should have enjoyed watching him play more than what I did. And so I told myself when Kobe came along, I wasn't going to do that same shit again. So a lot of my love for Kobe stems from the fact that I didn't want to give that love to Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan did no wrong. It didn't matter what he did. It didn't matter what he said. He was never wrong. And that shit used to just piss me off. It was like, man, he is not this guy. He's got flaws. And granted, it didn't seem like he had any flaws, but that was always my beef with Michael Jordan. And like I said, I didn't want to do that same shit with Kobe. And that's probably of why I latched on to Kobe the way I did, is because I said I wasn't going to do that same shit. I'm going to enjoy this guy this time around. And so when I hear you talk about Kobe and the way you talk about Kobe, it brings me back to my childhood where it's like, I was the same way with MJ, man. It was like, man, fuck that motherfucker, man. I'm going to talk shit to MJ. I'm going to talk shit to his fans. I'm going to talk shit on MJ as long as I can. But, you know, as I got older in age, it was like, man, I've never seen anybody better.
Yeah.
Part of my beef with LeBron, and I say beef because I don't hate LeBron. I really don't not like LeBron. I've enjoyed watching him play. I've enjoyed, you know, I think back to when he scored 25 against the Pistons, 25 in a row. I mean, that shit is just unreal, and that shit is fun to watch. But for me, as good as LeBron is and as good as he was, he should have been better than Michael Jordan. And to this day, I can't say that he's been better than Michael Jordan. And that's the shit that pisses me off about LeBron, because I know what I saw with MJ, and I know what I watched with MJ is he got better each year, made his team better, and worked on his flaws and did what he could to get to the point to where he was dominating. You know, I don't give a shit about Steph and Klay Thompson and whatnot. To me, at the end of the day, it's just Steph and Klay Thompson. LeBron was better than both. He should have. There's no way that Golden State should have beat him. Even with KD, I really don't give a shit. If he is that man and he is that GOAT, they should have won those games. And it's going to always be hard for me to put LeBron in that GOAT conversation. And it's going to be hard for me to put LeBron above Kobe, because I feel that he has not lived up to potential in those aspects when he absolutely should have, based on who he is physically, who he is athletically, and what he can do as a skilled basketball player. I just felt there should have been more. And I say that saying he lived up to his hype and expectation. I expected more, and I didn't get more, so it's going to be hard for me to put that. I don't care if he plays 30 years and averages 20 points for the rest of his life. It's still not going to be what I saw when it comes to Michael Jordan and Kobe.
It's not the same, but you get called a hater for that. And I'm going, guys, like, man, I don't think people recognize, like, if you put Kobe or MJ on that Miami team, how absurd it's going to get, because Wade is going to be better. Bosh, everybody's going to be better. Like you said, the Mamba mentality, the Jordan assholeness is like, it's going to make these guys better. And what they're going to do with those amount of weapons. And that's why I go, the NBA turned into a small ball league. LeBron's the biggest guy out there. So it kind of turns into a situation where it's like, hey, you're the largest human. You get to have a little bit longer shelf life because there's no 7-foot guy going upside your head, or just the physical contact. Every team had a 7-foot guy followed up by a 6'10", 6'11" guy every night in the NBA for a long time. And then that kind of changed. So he got this. Oh my gosh, it's not apples to apples.
Right,
it's not. You wouldn't have been able to do this back in the day. MJ didn't have the freedom of being able to say, "Hey, move all the big guys out the paint. I want to go dunk on somebody." LeBron had more freedom, probably because they thought, "Hey, he could be our Michael Jordan or our Kobe Bryant, so let's give him more freedom." I think with him getting so much freedom so early in his career, he never thought about playing inside of a system. So people look at MJ and Kobe and their guns. Yeah, they're guns. They're going to shoot the damn ball, period, whatever. But they're going to shoot it within the system. They're going to get into the triangle. They're going to let the point guard bring the ball up the court. They're not going to bring up the ball every single play as if they're the point guard. They're going to move. They're going to get to their spot. They're going to run an offense, but they know the ball's coming to me. Everybody's in flowing in sync. LeBron never embraced that. It was like, no, I can play 1, 2, 3, and the 4 efficiently. And if I have to play the 5, I can do that. Why do I need to do all this other shit? And I get being that brilliant and not having the wherewithal of, because it helps the team. It's not about me. It helps the team. And Mike struggled until he fully fell into that system.
That's true.
That last year when Doug Collins was there, and he finally was like, I don't want to play point guard anymore, even though I got all these triple doubles. I want to play team ball. It was like, oh, this motherfucker's growing up. And then you get Phil Jackson. Boom, it takes off. Kobe Bryant comes in young, figures, oh, those are bad shots. Even though I can hit them, I got Shaq on my team. Oh, let's go win 3 rings. Steph Curry, always in the system. Little yellow bastard running here, play, you shoot. Draymond, get a layup or whatever. I'll start shooting when I need to. They're all in the system. This is why I think LeBron's so great and could have been greater. You did all this shit being the system. I'm just going to be the system. And these guys will play around me. And I'm going, dude, if you would have went into a fucking system and let the rest of the guys get comfortable and then just turn that switch on when you felt like it,
it might be undeniable.
Move over Kobe, move over Magic, move over Bird, move over Kareem, Wilt, whoever, MJ. This big head bastard from Akron, Ohio is our best player of all time. And I think it's a case of he's almost like a scrambling quarterback. I can run like Cam Newton, but I can run. It's like, you shouldn't. Just throw the 2-yard pass to Greg Olsen. But I can run for 18 yards. Yeah, but when you get to those big dogs in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, that running lane gonna dry up, and you will wish that, hey, I could count on Greg, but now you can't count on Greg. You can't count on Kelvin Benjamin. You got to do it all on your own. So I think that's the difference between LeBron being our GOAT and being how I have him somewhere around 4 or 5-ish.
Right.
It's so hard to rank him. I don't even know, but I think that's the difference in ranking that guy is he was the system for 20 fucking years.
Right.
And he didn't ever decide, hey, there's another way to skin this cat. Do I blame him? If I was that fucking good, it wouldn't be no system, and I'd be doing the same thing he's doing. Let's start there. But
it'd be hard not to. It'd be really hard not to, especially when you look at how efficient he is as a player. It'd be hard not to.
What am I doing wrong? I shoot 52%. I'm getting 8-9 assists. I'm getting 8-9 rebounds. I scored 29 a night. It's like, yeah, but I don't think you can see that Kevin Love stood in the corner all night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't get. Yeah, but now he didn't rebound. He was backing us strong deep. All the little shit. I don't think he can see it because he's like, I did all I was supposed to do. And I'm like, nigga, you did yours and 3 more guys, but you demoralize other guys on the team. They're not able to help you when they need to help you. So I think really, if he goes to San Antonio and he plays the 4 and he's just like, all right, I'm listening to Pop. We got a different goal. But with him playing point guard most of the time and stats, and I am the system, I really do think that it hurt him in the GOAT conversation. But I will say him, the best athletes I think ever that I've seen. LeBron James, Vince Carter, and Shaquille O'Neal. Those 3 bastards, what they could do on the basketball court is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen with natural talent.
Right.
Shit I've ever seen on the planet. But if they had an MJ or a Kobe mindset,
it's a whole different ball game. Yeah. I can't front on none of that. But yeah, that's probably all we're gonna have today, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. I'm definitely gonna have to have my man LaDarious back when the football season starts because Lamar Jackson is without a doubt the best player in the NFL, and we'll definitely have to get on board and have some conversations about that because football season is definitely coming up. Did want to have this conversation with my man about Kobe because we've definitely been going back and forth about Kobe for a while now, and he's pretty much taken on the whole Beyond the Game group when it comes to Kobe. So definitely had to have that conversation out there. I hope y'all folks have enjoyed it. I hope y'all tune in next time we show back up because you never know when it's going to be. But hey, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to have this conversation, and I definitely look forward to more. Do you want to let the people know where they can find you at?
Man, no, they can find me in BTG right now. I'll probably get the pod, and I like this setup that you have right here with the app you're using, so I will use this because a lot of problems finding the app. I will say, man, Black content creators deserve, we need to make sure that we are treating our own like it's ESPN, like it's FS1. Like, don't look at things like what Jason's doing because you don't think that there's 1,000 lights and cameras and a teleprompter. Don't think that it's something lesser. I think it's really dope that he went out, did his own thing. I remember when he first got started, he was writing, and then he got to doing both, and he's kind of mixing it up. So I would say, guys, take advantage of this, man, because it's good content, and it's content from someone that you began to develop a rapport with. And it matters. Your view matters. No, he's not asking you for your dollar. He's not asking you to fund his next camera. Just watch and press like. And that goes a long way. So I think it's dope content. Black, white, purple, blue, green. I just think it's dope content. But I think it's dope that you also had the nerve to say, you know what? These other guys can do it. I can do it too. Because that's a part of the battle in my head. I'm like, man, but you started where you were with what you had. And I think it's dope. So just thanks for letting me be a part of it. And just keep doing it, keep kicking ass. And I think I'll move Kobe up to like 7 or 6 on the list.
My man. Absolutely. Hey, that's a great place to end it right there. Kobe done moved up. He's number 7 on the list. Hey, mission accomplished. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate the kind words. And again, man, I look forward to having you back on because we will definitely be getting it on and popping in the NFL season because we're going to have to let Brian Reigns know he's wrong, his boy's wrong, Jacksonville's wrong, and y'all going to waste Travis Hunter's career, and we're going to talk about that shit too. But again, I appreciate you taking your time to be on here. I appreciate the kind words. And, hey, I'll see you soon, man. I'll see you soon.
Have a good one, brother.
Yes, sir.
Peace.